The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation or Stewart Title. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show number 195, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Napick, hosting the show. So whether you're listening right here in Houston, Texas, Katy, Texas, anywhere else, Washington, D.C., Montana, one of the most popular states these days, Colorado, we're glad you tuned in. You're going to enjoy the show. We have interesting guests all the time and a variety of topics today. And we're always brought to you by Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, where you can get home, auto, all kinds of insurance. And oh yeah, Stewart Title. We have title insurance at any of our 30-some locations in Houston or pretty much anywhere in the United States and even beyond. We are an international company. And our first guest, we're going to talk to two gentlemen here about a Proposition 2, it's called. And we have Mark Raskin. He is the current president of the Texas Mortgage Bankers Association, and he's with Prime Lending. We also have John Fleming. He is the general counsel for that organization, the Texas Mortgage Bankers Association. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Bill. Glad to be on.
And you're calling in, so we can't see each other, but it's so nice to have you here to talk about something that we certainly believe is important. So first of all, Mark, you are with Prime Lending and the current president of the Texas Mortgage Bankers Association. First of all, tell us, Mark, what is this Proposition 2?
Well, Proposition 2 has a few sections of it that, in our opinion, is very, very important to Texas homeowners. Basically, the most important of all of it is that it offers consumers greater choices while maintaining the protections that are currently in place right now. An example being, one of which is, under the current structure, it is very difficult, if not impossible, for lenders like ourselves to originate a home equity loan if the loan is going to be under, let's say, $100,000 to $120,000, because there's a fee cap in place per the Constitution that includes things like title policy, appraisal, and survey, which are expenses that are outside of a lender's control. And because of those fee caps, if a consumer wants to come in and borrow, let's say $50,000, $60,000, or $70,000 for debt consolidation or paying for a child's education or what have you, they either have to increase that if they're able to up to $100,000 to $120,000, or they're just unable to access a home equity loan because of that fee structure. So we're lowering the fee cap from 3% down to 2%, but we're removing some of the fixed costs that are restricting lenders from being able to originate those smaller loans for consumers that need them. Secondly, for those that live out a little bit outside of town that have agricultural exemptions on their property, when this went into play of being able to access your equity about 20 years ago, there was an exemption where you could not do it if you had an ag exemption on your home, so you were not able to access your equity unless for some reason you had a for-profit dairy farm on there. So it's kind of awkward to tell clients they're trying to borrow money that, and they do have some acreage there, that they're not able to do so if they're, let's say, baling hay or what have you, unless they've got an old cow on the back that they're milking for profit, so to speak, to be able to access their equity. The third thing, which is most important in my opinion, or one of the most important ones, is the refinancing of a current home equity loan. So to give you an example, if you and your neighbor each own identical homes, identical credit, identical value, but your neighbor's home loan that he has in place, let's say that's $150,000, is from the original time that he purchased the home, that's the current balance. And let's say 5 years ago, because you put a larger down payment originally, you took out a home equity loan and now you owe $150,000. All things being equal, if you both come in to do a home equity loan, you're going to pay more than your neighbor's going to pay, both in interest rate and in cost, because of the way everything is set up with the in the Constitution currently. And with Prop 2 hopefully passing, this will level out the playing field and allow you more options in refinancing that existing home equity loan. And then the fourth thing addresses folks that have home equity lines of credit in place right now. Currently, you're able to acquire a home equity line of credit up to 80% of your value. But if you don't access all that up front, if you want to access that line of credit, 6, 12, or months down the line, or 2 or 3 years down the line, you're then capped out at 50%. You're not able to access up to the 80% that you originally could have accessed up front. And the challenge for that is it's causing folks that may not need all. Let's say it's on a $100,000 home and they may not need the $80,000 right now, is forcing them to take all $80,000 and pay interest on that when they may only need $30,000 or $40,000 right now, and anticipating needing the other, $40,000 or $50,000, a year, 2 years, or what have you from now. So it just provides additional choices while maintaining the protections that are currently in place for homeowners.
Some real solid benefits, it sounds like. And Mark, who should be interested in this proposition, as it's going to be on the ballot, or is for early voting, as far as I know, right?
It is. It started this Monday, and I would say it's a pretty simple answer to that. Any current or future homeowner in the state of Texas, if a homeowner may not feel like that they're impacted today, but they may be in the future, whether it be, as I mentioned earlier, debt consolidation or paying for an education for a child or a grandchild or what have you. But not everybody realizes that they may want to access their equity in the future, and this will impact potentially every homeowner in Texas. John, do you want to add anything else to that?
No, I think you're right, Mark. This is of interest to any current homeowner because it is designed to expand consumer choice and put the decision-making authority back in the homeowner as to what kinds of financing and what amounts they would like to take out.
So it really sounds also like, even for people that may not need this help now or need this option now, but it does create options for the homeowner, or as we're saying, the future homeowner too, right?
Bill, that is absolutely correct. And again, I think the one phrase that describes what is involved in Proposition 2 is expanding consumer choice. And that's the thing that's important to Texas consumers, we think.
When you mention that also, let's tell people, and maybe not read it word for word unless you want to, but give us an idea of the phrasing and how this is presented on the ballot, the wording of Proposition 2. Because sometimes when things are on propositions or on the ballot, the wording is so tricky that we don't know whether to vote for or against it or just to leave it blank.
Yes, I think that's a very, very good point, Bill. The proposition language that consumers will see was developed in a highly legalese kind of fashion because of the procedural and drafting requirements of a legislative drafting manual. And I do think that because there are 4 or 5 changes encompassed in this one amendment, that the ballot language gets long and doesn't really give consumers very much of an insight as to what this does. We think that there are places that a consumer can go to get better understanding of it. The real impact is that consumers should keep in mind this is about expanding consumer choice.
So, gentlemen, the big question, so what should people do when they vote, or let's encourage them to vote?
Well, I'll take that one if you don't mind, but the simple answer is go vote. It's an off-election year, meaning not as many people get out and vote, and it is imperative that not only do all of the listeners get out and vote and hopefully vote yes for Proposition 2, but get your colleagues to go as well. I think I was in and out of my local library within maybe a minute and a half when I did so Monday morning. But the simple answer is go vote.
Go vote. And let's tell them, remind them of the voting day if they want to go the election day, or they can early vote in their precinct, right?
Yes, they can go on Election Day, which is the first Tuesday of November, or they can early vote anytime between now and the end of next week. The convenience of early voting is you can go to any of the voting polls in your county versus being forced to go to the one by your residency. So it makes it a lot easier for folks to do during a lunch hour or on their way to work or back home afterwards. So heavily encourage you to go vote early and not wait till Tuesday.
Love that early voting. That's the greatest. Also, gentlemen, first of all, Mark, tell from your perspective, what happens if this is not passed?
Well, we continue with the status quo for which consumers/homeowners will be restricted in their choice for what they can do in accessing the equity in their homes, which unfortunately will result in continued higher rates and higher costs for the homeowners going forward. So it's pretty simple. This whole, as John mentioned earlier, the whole thing is to open up choices so that we can give more options to consumers, which would result in lower costs and lower interest rates.
And John, on that point, what would you want people to know if it is not passed? What would happen?
Well, I think it continues to restrict consumers in their ability to deal with the equity in their home. I think in connection with that, it's important to remember that in the development of Proposition 2, this is a reaction to many of the concerns that consumers were raising over the past 5, 7, 9 years. And so this really is intended to be consumer-friendly to make sure that consumers are, first, well-informed about the consequences of the choices that they are making, and number two, that they have the opportunity to make choices that the current law does not permit them to make.
And John, a brief word, you kind of touched upon it. How did this proposition develop?
Starting in February of 2016, the Texas Association of Realtors convened a series of conversations involving realtors who have always been at the forefront of making sure that our home equity laws had adequate consumer protections in them. The realtors started a conversation with persons involved in the mortgage lending industry to take a look back at the last 15 years of how home equity is working. And out of those conversations, this Proposition 2 was developed because it was the consensus of the realtors and the lenders at the table and the title companies and others that this really did represent a good approach to expand consumer choice but maintain existing protections where those were appropriate to make sure that consumers are well informed about what their choices are and the options available for them.
And John, let's tell people before we end this segment, how else can people learn more? And is there a website we can go to before we vote?
Yes, absolutely. The website that persons should look for are Texans for Prop 2. It's texansforprop2.com. And that will have some detailed information with respect to Proposition 2 for consumers to look at. And you can also, of course, always reach either Mark or I.
And Mark, what else would you like people to know?
Well, besides voting yes for Prop 2, just want to remind everybody that this whole thing is about expanding consumer choice while maintaining the consumer protections that are already in place. So it's a definite win-win for consumers and homeowners out there.
And Mark, how can people reach you? At Prime Lending, by the way.
I appreciate that. Couple of options. Email is mraskin@primelending.com, which is MRASKIN at primelending, PRIMELENDING.com, or they can always call my office at 972-713-3292. And
John, how can people reach out to you should they wish to?
Yes. My email address is John, JOHN, at johnfleminglaw.com. Fleming, FLEMING, johnfleminglaw.com. Or my office number is 512-320-9110.
Very nice, gentlemen. We also thank our own Stewart Title, Scott Gillen, for bringing you on the show. And, of course, John Fleming, you are the general counsel to the Texas Mortgage Bankers Association. And Mark Raskin, you are the current president of that association and with Prime Lending. And we're going to take a short break. Thank you, gentlemen. We're coming right back with more on Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stay with us.
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Nampick. And now we're going to talk about Katy, Texas real estate and even more with two tremendous guests. First, Candice Cross. She is with Cross Property Group, and with her today is also Chris Newton. He's a buyer specialist in residential real estate and even commercial. Welcome to the show, Candice and Chris.
Hi, how are you today, Bill?
Doing great. Chris, how are you, sir?
Doing well, sir. Thank you for having us.
Very nice. Well, first of all, we're so glad to have you here, and we thank Kurt Jones, our business development officer right there, and Katy for bringing you on the show. But first of all, Candice, let's tell people about your team, the Cross Property Group.
Okay, Bill, thanks so much. I've been in business 12 years. Our team brings over 20 years of combined real estate expertise to the table.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. I began real estate on the Northeast Coast with an award-winning team, then went back to Texas, my true home, and began Cross Property Group. Our main focus is on the luxury genre of real estate.
And I think you have an advantage right off the bat, Candice. The name Cross is easy to remember. So when people are thinking about real estate companies or yourself, they're going to say, hey, call Candice Cross. In fact, that has a nice ring to it, if I say so myself. Call
Thank you very
Candice
much.
Cross. And Chris, give us an idea. You're on the team as well. What are some of the things that you do, and what do you bring to the team?
I predominantly work with buyers, also listings at some sorts, but mainly buyers, helping them work their way through the transaction. Having great partners like Stewart is very advantageous for our team.
Well, it's important. You're right. When we use the word team, not only you have a team that's part of your company, the Cross Property Group, but also you have to have the right team members outside with the right title companies, home warranties, all those things. Right, Chris?
That's right. That's right.
And give us an idea, Chris. You say you specialize with buyers mostly. How is it that you tend to go and have that as your expertise, more so than, say, the listing side of things?
Buyers, you have to be a little more flexible. They want to work all sides of town. We've done transactions from Willis down to Brazoria, from Baytown out to the Hill Country. So you really have to stay flexible. You really have to listen to their needs, and you really have to, dive down into what their motivation is, because obviously it's not beneficial to our business or to the buyers to be taking them, to places that just aren't really what they're looking for.
Yes. And now, Candice, give us an idea. And I mentioned Katy, Texas at the onset of this, but let's tell people some of the other, Katy, of course, in the luxury part of the market, but tell them some of the other areas that you specialize in.
All right. Well, that's how we're kind of different, Bill. We do specialize in luxury in the luxury genre, but we bring luxury to all sellers and buyers. So whether it's a $100,000 transaction or a multi-million-dollar transaction, they're going to get the same treatment.
So the service is luxurious, and I like that idea. Exceeding expectations all the time, right?
That is correct. We want them to expect the best and get it.
Very nice. Now, give us another idea, Candice, of some of the ideas that go along with the team approach as you're out there helping buyers and sellers all the time.
We have an incredible team. We have 2 outstanding buyer's agents. We have an outstanding admin. And then we have incredible lenders, great title company, warranty companies. We all come together as a team to make it happen for both our sellers and our buyers.
And Chris, give us another idea. As you're out there, it sounds like you're putting a lot of miles on the car, by the way, as you mentioned the geographic areas. But give us another idea to some of the things that you think about in your approach with the buyers.
Well, I take a kind of a holistic approach. We deal with a lot of people that are coming, relocating to the Houston area, Katy specifically. So we have to think in advance. Are they bringing their children with them? Do we need to provide babysitting services? Do we need to figure out logistics as far as picking up clients at hotels, having them meet their spouses later in the afternoon? It really takes a lot of planning and care, but it makes things easier for the clients. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is provide a smooth experience.
And I say it all the time, and you brought a new light to this, and that is the real estate professional, whether serving buyers or sellers, has to be so many things. But I never really thought about the logistic. I mean, you have to be a negotiator, a counselor, know all the current laws and pay up to date on all the paperwork. But also you have to have the logistics down, because it's not just one person you're dealing with. Like you say, it's a family, and you might even have to get some pet sitting in there along the way as well, right?
It's happened before, and that's what I really like about our team is we stay very flexible. We all work well together. Not everybody is involved directly with every transaction, but if somebody needs help with the transaction, we're always stepping up to help each other. And it's easy to say, but when it happens, it's nice.
And going the extra mile is so important. Let's give people an idea, another way that you go that extra mile when you serve those buyers, Chris.
Well, we've done a lot of things as far as, like I said, providing babysitting services, logistics as far as pickup, sending Ubers for people.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, on the listing side as well, we've helped people with landscaping services, personally doing pressure washing and cutting down trees for homeowners that may not be able to do that kind of things for themselves. And then for our out-of-town clients, we've gone to meetings with state officials and appraisers for eminent domain issues, or gone to foundation pours or faced inspections, just so that people feel comfortable that we're looking out for them.
Excellent. Great ideas. Also, Candice, as far as your affiliation, your team's affiliation, that is, with Homes for Heroes, let's tell people, first of all, what is Homes for Heroes, and what are you doing to help that organization?
Oh, thank you, Bill. Our Homes for Heroes program is what we're most proud of. This is a program that focuses on our military, veterans, police, firemen and women, doctors, teachers, and nurses. Our partnership with Homes for Heroes allows us to give back to these heroes at the closing table. Each hero is given a check based on the percentage of the sales price of their home at closing. No strings attached, no red tape. They're handed a check. But the program doesn't just stop there, Bill. We also make another donation to Homes for Heroes, and they give a donation to a local nonprofit charity serving heroes in need.
Excellent. Now, how did you get involved with this organization, by the way?
I'll have to tell you, it was a team decision. Chris Newton brought it to my attention. We sat down with some other affiliates, looked into the program, and it was a definite win-win.
It sounds like you're doing great work out there, not just in the real estate, but helping areas that need help like that. That's so important. And also, Chris, give us an idea of some special events. What else is going on that you guys take part in?
Recently, we helped out the Katy Fire and EMS Association with their annual golf tournament that supported both the association and Camp Hope, which helps veterans with PTSD. Definitely was a great partnership working with Katy Fire, and we hope to do it again next year.
No doubt. And then also had Candice, we don't have a crystal ball and we can't predict the future, but you know what? We all get a feel, especially when you're in the real estate world every day, with the transactions, the buyers, the sellers, and the news that's going on. What's your feel as things unplay, as we're so close to the end of the year, how things are going to work out?
Absolutely, Bill. Only time will tell, but let me tell you, Katy has a strong market. We are very blessed to have big businesses in our area, and they're moving people in and out, relocating them, so there's always a demand for housing.
Excellent. Now, your office, let's tell people geographically where it's located as far as the perspective in the Katy area.
We're right in the heart of
In
Katy.
the heart.
In the heart.
In the center.
In the center.
Unbelievable. So that's what a perspective. I'm sure that didn't happen by accident.
It didn't. We are teamed with Keller Williams Premier, an excellent company. We dominate the luxury market in the Katy area and surrounding areas, and we'll continue to do so.
And as we're thinking about it here at the end of the segment here, give us an idea of as far as Katy and the Hurricane Harvey. How was it affected? Did it affect the Katy area from your perspective? I mean, you were there, right there. We had talk of reservoirs and all these things, but what was your perspective on it?
Yes, sir. We had a number of communities affected, including Canyon Gate of Cinco Ranch, which saw all 720 homes flooded.
Wait, let's say that again. That's
720 homes.
Oh, that's horrible.
And Bill, that's just one community. But let me tell you, we're resilient. We're rebuilding and doing outstanding. Homes are going up for sale, and they're selling already in these areas.
So it's interesting. We in some ways missed a beat, especially if you were the person or family that had their home flooded. I mean, that's certainly a setback and distressing, to say the least. My home flooded, not in the Katy area, but I know what it's like. It was tough. It still is tough. However, it's interesting that things keep moving on. Sales keep progressing. It's happening, right?
It is, Bill, and that's because the community in Katy and surrounding areas we're all coming together and helping each other. And again, we are going to rebound from this disaster.
And Chris, let's tell people, should they want to reach out to you, let's say there's a buyer out there that's saying, hey, this guy's calling Uber for me. He's doing the logistics. I want to call Chris. Chris, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Thank you, sir. I can be reached at 281-770-7932 or Chris, CHRIS, at cross, CROSS, the letter P, the letter G.com.
And notice everybody's name begins with C here today. Chris Cross. That was a famous singer, by the way. Yeah, you can call Chris Newton, not Chris Cross, at 281-770-7932. And should they want to reach Candice Cross, Candice, let's tell them how they can get a hold of you.
Okay, they can always call me directly at 281-682-2555, or they can reach out to me via email, candice@crosspg.com, or they can go to our website at www.crosspg.com.
Candice Cross, 281-682-2555. She's there to help you. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. They're going to come back a little later, and now we're going to take a short break. Stay with us. You're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Oh, yeah, much more to come. Stay with us.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Here we go. We march on with the show with another spectacular guest. Totally, what a variety show we have today. We have Mr. Sam Craven. He is with a company called Senna House Buyers. Guess what they do? I think they buy homes. I don't know. We're going to find out. Sam, let's tell people about your company. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
Awesome. Senna House Buyers. I guess you buy homes every now and then, or what?
Yeah, we try to buy as many as we can, but that's picked a good name that says exactly what we do.
I like that, Senna House Buyers. Tell us, as far as the word Senna, how does that link into this?
Well, that's a really good question. So I'm a bit of a car nerd. I actually went to engineering school so that I can work on race cars, and actually got to work on race cars. But racing's always been a big passion of mine, and one of my favorite race car drivers is Ayrton Senna. He's very, very passionate about what he does, very, very good at what he does, and so that's our company namesake.
Excellent. Now, by the way, and I got to meet you, and you have a pretty nice car there that you're driving around in. So you are a car enthusiast and a home enthusiast in the real estate profession. So during this storm, that's how I first met you, with the Hurricane Harvey. First of all, you've been out, I guess, buying some homes that have had flood damage and more, right?
Yes, me and my team have been out buying a lot of properties since the storm, meeting with a lot of homeowners, and just kind of explaining all the options, because unfortunately we've gone through this flood thing before in our business. And so that gives us a unique perspective in a sense, because we've been here. And so we have a lot of people who call us up and don't even know the next step to take. And so even if someone calls us and we can't buy their home, we walk them through the process of, look, these are the steps you need to take if you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, this is what you're going to face in the market if you decide to keep and sell your home. And we just try to help.
Yes, there's no question you are very well versed in that, as I noticed when I got to meet with you. But also, I will say, before I got to meet with you, and I believe it was Andrew, that is on your website. I think people will enjoy, and quite frankly, your website also walks them through the process and explains that you're not just about one focus that, hey, am I going to buy your house, for how much, and going through that. But you really are actually counseling people as to the best steps that they can take. Let's tell people the website, Sam.
Yeah, the website is sennahousebuyers.com. That's SENNA, housebuyers.com. And I like that word that you used there, counseling. That's exactly what we do. That's what all of our salespeople do. A lot of our competition, when they meet with a homeowner, they're there for 5 or 10 minutes, they throw them an offer, and they run out the door. And most of our meetings are between 30 and 45 minutes long, and sometimes longer, as we work through all these different options that each homeowner faces, because every single situation is so unique.
In fact, as we talk about flooded homes, or generally just thinking of the idea of any home, for example, I said to people after this flood, there's the home that never flooded in the Houston area. There's the home that only flooded once. And then there's the home that had the multiple disasters. So you got 3 different complexions. And as you said, each scenario is a little bit different. So therefore, you really must, to serve that person that you're working with, that client, you must counsel with them to find the right thing that's right for everybody, right?
Exactly.
Now, let's back up just a minute and go to the home that never flooded, because prior to the Harvey, your company was in business, and you were still in the business of buying homes and helping people. So let's tell people about pre-flood, what your company was doing.
Well, sure. So we've always been a house buying company. We've been in business for 5 years. Actually started the business with my dad, and now run the business with a high school friend of mine named Matt. We've always been in the market of helping homeowners. The way that we help homeowners hasn't changed. We just have a whole lot more to help right now. Well, our philosophy has always been to take care of the client, number one, and do what's right by the client, number one, and that doesn't always mean that we get to buy their home.
Well, there's no question about it. And I think as I drive around, people have seen these signs. You see them like in the corner or the middle of the street where it says "We buy houses" and on a flimsy little a cardboard sign, and that's totally what your company is not. You're a full service, but it is interesting that. How did you find yourself in the business of buying houses? In the world of real estate, there's so many things you could do. How is it that you found this little intersection to plant your traffic signal?
I've got an engineering degree from A&M, and I worked all through high school and college as, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and work on race cars and drive race cars, and that was going to be my life. But, I got to experience that life a little bit in college, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. And so right out of school, I quit racing. I quit working for the race teams and got a job in sales, and I loved sales, but then I got tired of making other people money. So talked to my dad. We decided to start this company together, read all the internet stuff, got a coach, and went out there and started the business. And since then have done hundreds of houses. I don't even know exactly how many we've done.
Well, the other part on the website, and even when we talked before, that is that you tailor the scenario to the person, because someone may not, you can buy the home, but they may need to stay there another month or so. Or they may need, in the case of a flood thing, they may need to wait for insurance money, or they may need to wait for a resolution. So you truly tailor it to the needs of the people, and it sounds like you're easy to work with.
Well, I try. Me and my team, we work very, very hard to serve the needs of our clients, whatever it is that looks like. We've moved people cross country. We fixed AC units in properties that we haven't bought. I mean, you name it, we've done it. We try to find some way to help in some way.
And you say your father is involved in the business. What's his name, Sam?
Yeah, his name's Robert Craven. And he's not as involved in the day-to-day running of the company now, but we're actually working on a few bigger projects together as well. And he's got an office right in our office.
Interesting. Well, I'm more interested, quite frankly, in the role of Red Craven. What does Red actually do for the company?
Okay. So you're clearly on the website. Red is my dog, and she comes with me to the office every single day.
No doubt.
So she gets an honorary mention there on the website, and we've actually got a lot of people who bring their dogs into the office.
That's awesome. Now, does the dog get to ride around in your Porsche?
Yeah, she does. She comes with me to work every day.
Red Craven, yeah, and a beautiful gal on the website. She really looks like she. In fact, I think that the dog is so important in the real estate world as a mascot, and it also people just love dogs. And in the real estate world, so many people have dogs, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Sam, let's tell people again the website and anything else you want people to know about your company, Senna House Buyers.
Yeah, guys, the best way to get in contact with us is jump on our website, sennahousebuyers.com. That's SENNA. Or give us a call at 713-489-8000. Otherwise, I really appreciate you having me on your show and getting to talk a little bit about my business and what it is we do here at Senna House Buyers. And that if you or anyone you know has been affected by the storm and is looking for a just absolutely no obligation consultation with me or any of my team members, just pick up the phone and give us a call or jump on our website.
And Sam, give them the phone number one more time.
Sure, 713-489-8000 or sennahousebuyers.com.
And as you're talking with us right now, you're on the road driving somewhere. Is that correct?
That's correct. I am somewhere outside of Marfa, Texas, headed back into Houston. Actually just bought another car out in California.
Look out. And observing the speed limit, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Craven with Senna House Buyers. Thank you, Sam, for being on the show. And we're going to take a short break and coming right back. Stay with us. Bill Nampick on Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title.
If you've been in the real estate industry for any length of time, you know unexpected and costly events can happen. Safeguard yourself against the unexpected with Real Estate Errors and Omissions Insurance, or E&O, through Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Not all E&O insurance policies are created equal. How confident are you that your current E&O policy fully protects you? Stewart Insurance and Risk Management offers expertise in the real estate industry and tailors your coverage to correctly manage your risk. With Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, facing the unexpected just became a lot easier. Safeguard your future with real estate E&O insurance through Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Call today at 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com to request tailored insurance options for you and your business.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. We march on. Oh, yeah. Brittany Tacquard with Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is now here. They bring the show to us, all 195 shows so far. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Super awesome. Let's tell people Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. Tell them what you do, just in case we have a new listener out there.
All right. So Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is owned by Stewart Title Company. So naturally, we provide insurance solutions for real estate. We have two sides of our business. One is working with those businesses who operate within real estate. So it's insuring real estate brokers and lenders and title agents and attorney agents who work within real estate from a commercial perspective. And then we also work with home buyers that are going through that real estate transaction to secure home insurance as they're closing on a home, or if they're working with a real estate agent or a lender and they're going through that home purchase process. So
Indeed.
it's exciting stuff.
And in fact, if people listen to the last promo, if a real estate professional is out there that has a company, a broker, they can get broker E&O insurance all day long at Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, right?
Absolutely. And we can also help their home buyers just to make that process a little easier, a little smoother. I think I heard earlier on the show, it's about all these different parts of the transaction coming together to really make it a great experience for both the home sellers and the home buyers.
Well, in past shows, we've talked a lot about flooding. The city has been talking about flooding, Harvey, flood insurance, and we certainly, I recommend, and this is my recommendation, probably yours too. If you don't have flood insurance, I don't care where you live in the Houston area, I'd get some flood insurance.
I don't care where you live in the U.S. Everybody's in a flood zone.
There you go. That's a flood zone.
Everyone's in a flood zone. It's whether you're in a lower risk zone or a higher risk zone. So it's always a possibility, and it's something that that's just important. I mean,
quite frankly, it's reasonably priced too.
Yes,
I think I paid $450, $475 for my flood insurance. So I mean,
especially if you're in a lower risk zone, there's really no reason not to get it because there's still, I think the last fact that we read, I think it's a third of the homes who flood are in the lower risk zones. So I mean, it's worth it, right?
And last week's Wall Street Journal, we're going to change gears from flood to another word, fire. And in the Wall Street Journal last week, they had an article that said, check your insurance fire coverage. Now, we say generally, just make sure you check all your insurance coverages to make sure you have the right one, the right policies, things you need, things you don't need. And we need to do that periodically. And we encourage that. You have the annual review with your customers, but it's always a good time to make sure we have the right coverage. But a lot of times we don't think about fire. So give us an idea of some of the things that we should think about as far as fire coverage when it comes to our homeowners insurance.
Absolutely. So I think even in the article, it was mentioning that fire is one of the standard coverages that we call them perils. So you can suffer damage or loss to your home in many different ways. If you think about it, you mentioned one, it was flooding. There's water damage. There's fire damage. There's all these different what we call perils in the insurance industry. So when you look at your policy, there's two types of policies. We have those that say, I'm going to cover A, B, and C, and that's it. Or we have those policies that say, we're going to cover everything except A, B, and C. So as a general rule, the broadest type of coverage to get is the ones that say, I'm going to cover everything except these things, versus the one that says, I'm just going to cover these 12 perils, and that's it. So we always talk with our customers, again, proper insurance is different for everybody. You may have a little bit higher risk tolerance. I know I said, hey, flood's worth it. It's worth it to me because it's just a devastating event and I want to be able to recoup financially, but it might be different for somebody else. And we really do have to have that consultation to talk through those types of things. So perils is one of those. Fire is one of those. Flooding is a different peril. It's an entirely separate policy, but your fire would typically be included in your homeowner's insurance.
Well, I will tell you this. As I said, my home flooded. It was a horrible experience all the way around just to see the home in that condition, to see the water. However, going back to the Wall Street Journal and even the news, seeing the people that suffered fire damage, that's a whole different animal because like I have a 2-story home, so a lot of the stuff on the second floor was okay, and you could bring stuff from the first floor to the second floor before the water gets it. But when it comes to fire, I saw a picture where the people go back to their home, and from ground level up, it's total destruction, especially these ones in California. It's horrible. So I can't imagine going through that. It had to even be worse than the flood.
Yeah, and you mentioned something significant in that, and where you have a total loss, right? And I know that when we go through that, the process of explaining, when somebody's securing home insurance, we talk through something that's called replacement cost. So you think about for a flood, like you said, you can save some of your things on a 2-story house. Your entire home isn't completely destroyed, but in a fact of a fire, when you have to actually rebuild from the ground up, if I asked you how much do you think your home costs, where would you get that number?
I don't know.
See, typically
you go back to what you paid, and then you go back to your appraisal, and theoretically it's appreciating in value, right?
So the appraisal cost or the market cost is something completely different than the replacement cost that the insurance companies come up with, and it's because you're really building the house from the ground up. You're removing that debris, you're getting materials, and if it's something like a widespread disaster like Harvey, like these fires, typically those materials the cost is going to go up, right? So insurance has to think about all those different things of what is it going to cost to rebuild Bill's home from the ground up. And it's very different than the market cost, than the appraisal cost. It's a completely different formula. So that's just something to keep in mind as a homeowner when if you're consulting with an insurance agent and you bought your home for $100,000, but they're saying, hey, to rebuild it, it's $150,000. It's because you have to take into account what it's going to take for labor, for materials, during an event like those fires or during an event like Harvey, and you have to think about what it's going to take to build from the ground up.
So basically, very basically put, we need to be conscious and mindful of our replacement cost and talk with our insurance agent about that. Mm-hmm. And if someone wants to talk to you about that, Brittany, or your company, your team members, your killer team members, what's the number?
866-845-4676. We'd like to have a thorough conversation to discuss what proper insurance is for you.
And one more time.
866-845-4676.
And on the first page of Stewart.com, they can also find and see what mm-hmm. you cover, the menu of insurance. It's right there at Stewart.com. There's so much there, by the way, on Stewart.com. But mm-hmm. right there, if you want the insurance and want to make sure you have the right coverage, check it out, Stewart.com, right?
Absolutely.
And thank you so much, Brittany mm-hmm. Tacquard. And we're going to take a short break. We're going to come right back even more. We're almost finished, but the best is yet to come. Stay with us.
We want to multiply. Are you going to do it?
Stewart Title has been serving Texas for over 120 years. A Texas treasure, Stewart Title's longevity is a testimony to superior service, innovation, and knowing what their customers want. Recent surveys show that 92% of respondents want secure online tracking tools to help them during the closing process. Stewart Title offers the most robust and secure system to track transactions online available today. To learn more, contact Stewart Title at one of their many offices around the city. Stewart Title, online at Stewart.com. That's STEWART.com.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, your host, Bill Nampick. And I want to tell you, our guests, we had a lot of team participation on this show. We're going to talk again to Candice Cross and Chris Newton with the Cross Property Group. However, their names, C, Candice, Chris, and Kurt Jones. He is our business development officer in Katy, Texas at Stewart Title. His name begins with C, too. Go figure. But Kurt was kind enough to bring these great guests. And if you want to have a tremendous closing there at Kurt Jones's office at Stewart Title, you just give him a call at 281-392-8844. Oh, yeah, 281-392-8844. And covering the city like a blanket, Stewart Title has 30-some locations. Heading east at the City Center Town and Country Memorial, you can also have a great closing with Nancy Baker Jones. Oh, yeah, related to Kurt Jones. However, that's at 788 West San Houston Parkway. Stewart Title in the City Center, we have it covered like a blanket. You can go to Katy and close. You can go to City Center, wherever you like, even inside the loop. Or give us a call there at the City Center at 713-468-8900. That's where I'm at, 713-468-8900. Whatever's convenient for you, we're there to help you. And now, as I mentioned, Candice Cross, Chris Newton are back. Hey, Candice and Chris, welcome back to the show.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you. Thank you for having us.
Very nice. Well, we have a few minutes left here on the show. Let's tell people, what else, Candice, would you like people to know about what you're doing out there in Katy, Texas with the Cross Property Group?
Well, we'd like to talk about a special event that we're sponsoring on November 4th. For the Ballard House.
Coming right up.
That's right. Called Sip and Stroll.
Sip and Stroll.
Mm-hmm. This is a fun community event where you can mix and mingle with thousands of Katy residents, have a little wine, and all proceeds go to the Ballard House, Bill.
And let's tell people the Ballard House, what that is.
The Ballard House is a 20,000 square foot facility known as the Hospitality House in the heart of Katy. The mission of this house is to temporarily house men and women who are suffering critical illnesses while they're getting treatment in the Houston area at no cost.
That's excellent to be able to help people in that way. And again, the event is November 4th. Is that right?
Yes, sir, November 4th.
And if they want to know more about that, what should they do, Candice?
They are always welcome to reach out to either Chris or myself at 281-682-2555.
Sip and stroll. Did I get that right? I
That
could
is
do
correct.
both things at once. That sounds exciting. 281-682-2555. You can give Candice a call there. And also, Chris, what else should we know from your perspective?
Well, I think there may be a website, katiesippandstroll.com, if people need some more information. I just wanted to circle back for the Homes for Heroes. If there's anybody, teachers, doctors, nurses, current or honorably discharged veterans that want some more information, don't hesitate to give us a call. There's no credit or income requirements or limitations associated with Homes for Heroes. Everybody qualifies, and it'd be our honor to serve those that have, given so much for us.
Some great worthy causes going around all over Houston, certainly in Katy, Texas. We've talked a little bit about buyers. We haven't really talked too much about sellers. Let's say there's someone that's thinking about selling their home, Candice or Chris, in the Katy area. What else would you like them to know about your company as far as, and we talked earlier about going that extra mile, but what about going the extra mile for the sellers?
Okay, that's when, again, we're team players. We bring in professional photographers, videographers. We have a individual marketing proposal for each home. So we're on top of every part of the marketing aspect of listing a property.
So many components to the real estate. People, and I think as people go through the transaction, whether they're buying or selling, every so many years, I don't know, they say, I guess the average is 7 years, but it just all depends. However, there are so many components, Candice, and each transaction is different.
That's correct, Bill. Every situation is completely different. So we handle each transaction on an individual basis, a personal basis.
And you've been in the profession over 12 years. What is it that keeps you excited about it every day?
We love working in our community.
Working in the community. And Chris, what keeps you motivated in the real estate world to make that next car ride to go wherever you're going to go?
Yeah, when I got into this business a few years ago, I thought it was going to be about houses, and it's not really. It's about people, getting to know people, and seeing them succeed in their endeavors and what motivates them. There's a lot of emotions that go into buying and selling houses, and helping people get through that and seeing a positive outcome it's really rewarding.
And if you were to type or write down what you just said, there's a lot of emotions that go in. That we could put that in bold print and capital letters because there really is, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I look back, yeah.
And Chris, tell us one more time how we can reach out to you.
I can be reached at 281-770-7932 or Chris at crosspg.com.
281-770-7932. And Candice, one more time, your phone number?
281-682-2555.
Thank you so much. Some great guests and some great topics here today all over the board. And, of course, we're brought to you every show by Stewart Insurance and Risk Management and their president, Tom Carpentier, who leads the company in a magnificent way, even when he sleeps. That is right. So the show is ending at the time of broadcast, but you know what? It never really ends because you can hear it anytime you want at Stewart.com/Houston. Again, that's Stewart.com/Houston. And oh, yeah, you want to see the guests? Go to my YouTube channel, Bill Napick Radio Shows. That's Knapik, the K silent, Bill Napick Radio Show. You can see and hear the guests at the same time. And until next week, thank you so much from show number 195. Thank you, Candice Cross, Chris Newton, Sam Cravens, even Red Craven. I know he's listening. And the gentleman, John Fleming, Mark Raskin, and Scott Gillen. Thank you so much. And thank you, Kurt Jones, for bringing these incredible guests here. We'll see you next week. I'm done talking. That's a lot of words. Until next week, thank you for listening.